The specials were eternally fixed combinations, and he never handled money except to put tips in his pockets. Most customers gave him $1 for lunch or breakfast, $0.25 for coffee, and $2 for dinner. They were gracious because he looked 14. They thought he was saving money for college. The manager liked him because he was good for business, always rhapsodizing about fries and soda in a way that made them sound exponentially more wonderful than chips and tap water. Plus, he never stole. With tips in his pockets, he felt rich. It was his good fortune to be a sucker in a time when the village was not rich in expensive things. Dealers and hookers caromed off his chatty ways. He was afraid of loud noises and fast-moving objects. He never took the subway or crossed a street against the light. His instinct for self-preservation didn't extend to people, but he respected vehicles and the dangerous subset of people who were loud and fast-moving. So much that on the whole he was safer walking around New York than a normal person would have been. He started playing ukulele soon after his mother died. As a teenager, he switched to electric bass because it also had 4 strings and was good enough for Paul McCartney. For his 16th birthday, his father took him to 48th Street, where he picked out a lemon yellow Music Man Stingray. At home, he played unamplified, accompanying records and the radio. On days when he didn't hear a new song he liked, he wrote one. He wasn't egotistical about it. He didn't care who wrote the songs as long as they were there. He sang his favorites in public, with hand motions, louder than he could really sing, his voice ringing and rasping, the sound effortful, conveying obstacles overcome, the drama of stardom, the artist as agonist, in part as a side effect of singing outdoors against ambient racket and traffic. When he turned 21, he got access to his trust fund. That is, his father was able to tap it for his expenses and moved him from the rent-controlled duplex in the West Village to a 2-bedroom in a nondescript building on 19th between 5th and 6th. They shared a cleaning lady who doubled as a spy, assuring Professor Harris that Joe regularly ate real food and changed his clothes. With his own place, he could finally invest in a bass amp. Pam helped him parse the classifieds and bulletin board flyers. She located an appropriate Ampeg combo a short walk away in Hell's Kitchen. He fiddled with the tone knob on the Music Man, looked up at the cellar, and yelled over the noise, "Fuck me sideways! I never knew this knob did anything!" Pamela Bailey was born the year after Joe, in 1969. She grew up an only child in northwestern Washington, D.C., between the National Zoo and the National Cathedral. Her mother, Ginger, was a homemaker, active in their church, that is, the cathedral, and the Friends of the local branch library. She had practiced what she called Irish birth control by marrying after she finished college and not before. She didn't approve of the Irish generally, but acknowledged a preference for lace-curtain Irish over shanty Irish, such as the Kennedys. Pam's father, Edgar, was a career civil servant at the Defense Logistics Agency in Anacostia. Adolescent Pam suspected him of having committed atrocities in Vietnam. He had been partially responsible for supplying American forces there with cinder blocks. To her credit, he had materially enabled the invasion of Grenada by coordinating the movement of spare tires. Ginger and Edgar were white, Anglo-Saxon Protestants of the post-Calvinist variety. They didn't believe in predestination, but they behaved as if it were revealed truth. Every deviation from the straight and narrow was presumed a fatal wrong turn on the one road to salvation. An oft-cited maxim was, "Spare the rod, spoil the child," albeit with a certain irony, since as belt spankers, they never used an actual rod. With similar irony, they would say, "Children should be seen and not heard." Of course, they expected Pam to be able to hold up her end of a dinner table conversation. Maybe they should have had an extra child to practice on. She went to public school and never had much homework. She liked to play with boys. At age 9, she discovered Dungeons and Dragons. At 12, she made up an outer space-themed role-playing game that earned her $2,000 when her father licensed it to Atari in her name. But puberty was unkind to her. Her reddish hair made pimples and freckles stand out. Her friends went from talking swords and sorcery to planning careers in the U.S. Army Rangers.